Good morning. It's the next day. As you can see, it's the compost that we unloaded out of the truck last night, and I'm about to get started with this garden. It's happening today. First thing to do is measure and mark where I want my beds to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm about to make this garden happen. Okay, 2 feet from 6. Hold on, don't flip my notebook open. That's my garden plan, okay? You gotta leave it alone. You wanna help mommy measure? I finally got all of my flags in place. It was more challenging than I thought it was going to be. The toddler was a little distracting, and I had to figure out a good way to measure in all directions. I ended up getting a piece of PVC pipe and marking it at 4 foot, 6 foot, and 8 foot to help me measure. So what we've got here, this will be the central path, and there will be the beds on either side. They're going to be 4 foot by 8 foot with paths in between them. And on the other side of this bed, all along the back of the garden, the north side of the garden, I'm going to have an arch trellis all down the back to grow things on. So yeah, it is taking shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some cardboard boxes, break them down, and I'm going to lay my cardboard in my beds and cover the bed with a couple inches of compost. I'm not sure exactly how many inches of compost I'm going to put down on top of the cardboard. It depends on how much I have. I know I'm going to need more, but in order to kill weeds, I'm thinking it's at least got to be 3 or 4 inches of compost. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. So I wanted to show how I overlapped the cardboard in this space. You really want to overlap the edges, especially where there are these slits in the cardboard. You want to overlap the edges so that no weeds can come through. I mean, some weeds are going to come through, but you want to do as much as possible to suppress the weeds. And now my first step is actually going to be, I'm going to use the wheelbarrow to shovel wood chips all around the edge. I'm going to use the wood chips to contain the compost, and I'm going to use the wood chips in the pathways, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I finished it. As you can see, finished the first bed, and it took a lot longer than I thought it would. I always underestimate how long it's going to take to do something like this. It's, you see the sun, I guess you can't really see, but the sun is probably going to be setting in about an hour or so, and I started this project early this morning. You might finish it sooner if you are not, if you don't have a toddler moving your flags around, but here it is. So the wood chips around the edges, this is a really rough mix here. It's just from, you know, when a tree service in my area chopped down some trees and put it through their chipper. We've got a lot of pine straw, pine cones, and some small twigs and things mixed in there, but I don't care. It was only $25 for a dump truck load of the wood chips, and I got those through chipdrop.com if you want to look that up. And the wood chips are going to be, as you can see, the borders to the beds. And this middle, this middle path here is going to be completely covered in wood chips, and the paths that are in between the beds are going to be wood chips. That hopefully eventually this whole fenced in area is just going to be wood chips and garden beds, just to get the weeds and the grass as far away as possible from my bed. And I've got these wood chips on, maybe like 3 or 4 inches thick, and then I put 4 wheelbarrows full of compost in the bed. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot bed, and it took 4 wheelbarrows to get it to a depth of 3 inches. It was a lot fluffier and thicker, but I tamped it down with my feet. As you saw, it probably looked like I was doing some kind of garden fertility dance. Hopefully it works. But I tamped it down with my feet just to firm it down and keep it in place. And So now that I've tamped it down, it's about 3 inches, a little less than 3 inches deep. And I may end up putting a little bit more, especially it's a little bit thinner around the edges. But that is it. That is my completed garden bed, and it feels so good to have knocked that out. I'm really excited to have finished this garden bed. It really tells me that this is gonna happen. Like, this whole garden that I have planned out in my head is coming into being, and it's, I don't know, I'm just really excited. I feel a sense of urgency to get this completed. Today is March 8th, maybe? I'll have to double check that. I'm not even sure what day it is. I think it's March 8th. But my last frost date in Zone 7B, where I am, is April 15th. So I'm about 5 weeks out from my last frost date. 5 or 6 weeks from my last frost date. And I've got some cold hardy seedlings started inside, which I'll have to show in another video. But in mid-February I started cabbage, which I've never grown before, several types of kale, mustard greens, beets, chard, and an Asian green called Chiji Masai. I got it from Baker Creek, and I've never grown it before, but it's a beautiful little seedling. So yeah, those are all my cold hardy plants that I've started so far, and they're getting big and they need to go in the ground. So I actually took them outside today and set them in a partially sunny spot so that they could start to harden off. It's a good day for it. I think the high was 61 degrees today, and for the next week to 10 days we don't have any low temperatures below freezing. Not that that matters, they're going to be inside at night, but it's a good time to harden them off. We're not going to have any rain for the next week, so I'm going to harden them off and I'm going to get them in the ground as soon as possible. So I've got one bed completed. I've got to do, I've got to make 7 more. My total garden is going to be 8 of these beds, which are 4 foot by 8 foot. And this bed that I just completed is going to be, I'm going to start some spinach and radishes from seed in this bed, and late this month I'm going to try and start potatoes. I've never grown potatoes before, but you can grow potatoes in this no-dig method, and I'm going to try it. I'm excited about it. So yeah, I'm super excited to have gotten this bed finished, and tomorrow I'll be making another one, and yeah, it's happening, and I'm just so excited. I love gardening, and I hope that you enjoy watching these videos. This is the first of hopefully many to come. I'm gonna see how I enjoy this process. I've never done a YouTube channel before, and I'm just going to, I feel so inspired from the YouTube channels that I watch, the YouTube gardeners. I'll have to make a video about my favorite YouTube channels, my favorite gardening YouTube channels. But I just feel so inspired by their videos and what they share. And I mean, everything I know about gardening I've learned from YouTube. My family didn't grow up gardening. I was the first one who wanted to start a garden, and I've learned it all from YouTube. And so if someone connects with my videos and that inspires them to want to garden, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm gonna see how it goes, if I enjoy the process of making videos, editing them, and uploading them. I'm gonna see how I enjoy that and how that progresses, and hopefully you guys will be able to follow along, you know, month by month as I grow this garden this summer. Yeah, but thank you for watching, and yeah, I mean, I guess if you like it, subscribe. But I'm gonna go inside and cook something for dinner, and yeah, maybe I'll see you tomorrow or another day this week.